If you are trying to lose weight and feel like every plan tells you something different, you are not alone. One diet says cut carbs, another says skip breakfast, another says eat tiny portions and somehow ignore your hunger. And after a while, it gets exhausting. If you want to check the protein, meal resources, and support tools I recommend, I've linked them below in the description. Here is the truth. Weight loss does require eating in a way that helps you stay in a calorie deficit. But that does not mean you need to follow an extreme plan. In fact, the more restrictive a plan feels, the harder it usually is to stay with long enough to get real results. A better approach is to build meals that help you feel full, steady, and satisfied, so that eating less happens more naturally, instead of feeling like a battle all day long. So in this video, let's talk about what to actually eat to lose weight in a way that is realistic and sustainable. The first thing to prioritize is protein. Protein is one of the most helpful tools in a weight loss plan because it helps with fullness, supports muscle, and makes it easier to hold on to your strength while losing body fat. This matters because when you lose weight, you do not want your body giving up muscle along with fat. You want to encourage fat loss while keeping your body strong and supported. A simple way to think about this is to make sure every meal includes a solid protein source. That could be eggs, Greek yogurt if tolerated, cottage cheese, chicken, turkey, tuna, salmon, lean beef, tofu, edamame, or another option you genuinely enjoy. You do not need to make it complicated. You do need to make it consistent. A lot of women, especially later in life, accidentally undereat protein earlier in the day and then wonder why they are hungry, snacky, and less in control by the evening. Starting your meals with protein can change that quickly. The second thing to understand is that carbs do not need to be eliminated. This is where so many people get discouraged. They try to lose weight by cutting out bread, rice, fruit, potatoes, or every carb they enjoy, and then they either feel miserable or cannot stick with it. Carbs are not automatically the problem. They can absolutely fit into a weight loss plan. What often happens on a very low-carb plan is that the first few pounds lost are mostly water, not necessarily body fat. That can make it look like the plan is doing something magical, when really a lot of it is just a short-term shift in fluid balance. That does not mean some women do not feel better eating fewer processed carbs. Many do. But it does mean you do not have to fear all carbs in order to lose weight. A much more practical approach is to be thoughtful about them. Choose carbs that feel satisfying and fit your day. Use more of them around activity if that helps your energy. And keep an eye on the carb sources that are easiest to overeat and least helpful for fullness. That often means being more careful with things like pastries, chips, sugary drinks, candy, crackers, and heavily processed snack foods, while still allowing room for foods like fruit, potatoes, oats, rice, beans, or quality bread in portions that make sense for you. The third thing is to stop overlooking fats. Fat is important, but it is also very easy to overdo without realizing it because it is more calorie-dense than protein or carbs. That does not mean fat is bad. It means it helps to be aware. Cooking oils, creamy dressings, butter, nut butters, mayo, cheese, and rich sauces can add up quickly, especially when you are not paying attention. So the goal is not to remove all fats. The goal is to use them on purpose. Healthy fats can absolutely be part of a satisfying weight loss plan. Avocado, olive oil, nuts, Seeds and other whole food fat sources can make meals feel much better and help reduce that constant sense of restriction. But this is one place where a few small adjustments can make a surprisingly big difference. Now let's make this practical. If you want to know what to eat to lose weight, one of the simplest ways to build meals is this. Fill 1/4 of your plate with protein. Fill half of your plate with vegetables and/or fruit. Then use the last quarter for carbs and/or fats, depending on the meal and what helps you feel satisfied. This kind of meal structure is helpful because it removes a lot of the confusion. You are not staring into the fridge wondering what is allowed. You are simply building a plate that gives your body what it needs while keeping portions balanced. This works at home, and it can also help when you eat out. You do not need a perfect menu. You just need to look for a protein source, some produce, and a reasonable side that rounds the meal out. Another important piece is meal timing. A common mistake is letting yourself get too hungry and then trying to make good decisions when your body is already in a bottomless pit kind of state. That usually does not go well. For many women, 3 or 4 main meals a day works much better than trying to be good all day and then feeling out of control later. Some women also do well with a snack or two in between meals, depending on energy, routine, and hunger. There is no prize for white-knuckling your way through the day. The real question is this: what meal rhythm helps you stay steady, satisfied, and less likely to overeat later? That is the rhythm you want. And this is also where protein shakes can be genuinely useful. Not because they are magic, not because you need them to lose weight, but because they can make it easier to hit your protein goals when real life gets busy. If breakfast is rushed, or you tend to fall short on protein, a quality protein shake can be a very practical tool. Sometimes convenience is what makes consistency possible, and that matters more than trying to do everything the perfect way. There is something else that does not get talked about enough, and that is where and how you eat. If every meal happens in front of a screen, in the car, while multitasking, or while barely paying attention, it becomes much harder to notice fullness and much easier to eat beyond what you actually need. Slowing down helps. Sitting down helps. Paying attention to the meal in front of you helps. That does not mean every meal has to be a perfect, mindful eating experience. It simply means that being present more often can support better decisions and a better connection with hunger and fullness. And finally, mindset matters more than most women realize. If your plan is built on all or nothing thinking, it will probably keep leading to the same cycle. Start strong, get overly strict, feel deprived, slip up, then feel like you ruined everything. That cycle is exhausting. A more effective approach is to make room for real life. Have your favorite foods sometimes. Learn how to fit them in without guilt. Do not act like one off-plan meal erased all your progress. It did not. Progress comes from what you do consistently, not from trying to be perfect for 3 days and then giving up. That is why small, steady progress wins. Half a pound a week that stays off is more meaningful than a quick drop that rebounds because the plan was never realistic to begin with. And your food does not need to be boring to work. One of the smartest things you can do is build your meals around foods you truly enjoy. When the plan feels satisfying, you are much more likely to stick with it. So if you have been wondering what to eat to lose weight, Here is the simple version. Prioritize protein. Include carbs in a smart, balanced way. Use fats intentionally, not carelessly. Build meals with a simple plate structure. Eat often enough to avoid extreme hunger. Use practical tools like protein shakes when needed. Slow down and pay more attention while eating. And let consistency matter more than perfection. Because the best weight loss plan is not the most extreme one. It is the one that helps you stay steady long enough to see real change. If this helped, let me know in the comments which part of this feels most useful for you right now. And if you feel like this approach fits where you are right now, you can check everything linked below. It helps support the channel at no extra cost to you.